you need something new to listen, out of all the other shit, Bass Tapes has what you need, and it goes like this. Every other Friday morning, you get a little treat, something not too long and feels more complete. Bass Tapes, Bass Tapes, Bass Tapes. Please listen to our bass takes. If you don't like what you hear, go fuck yourself.
Okay, dude, it's so weird. So just two people being in here, like this is how we're.
Oh, it's so intimate.
It's so fucking, it's so different. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pilot episode 0 of Bass Tapes. Now, if you're wondering what the fuck is this, this is the Bass team, the Bass After Dark podcast midlife crisis. You know, the views aren't doing so good. You know, the algorithms are changing. We got to switch things up. Too many people are talking over each other. Hamsy's not showing up when he needs to. Fucking everyone's leaving. But we're still here to give you the content. And I'm joined here with a good friend of mine, a good Canadian friend, fellow editor of the Behemeth channel, community channel, the thieves of the Runescape community. I'm joined with Asterix here today. Thank you, Asterix, for coming here and being a part of this.
Oh. Hey guys, it's me, Asterix, the Canadian thief, known by many names. Yeah, this is a little experimental thing we're working on here. Tits was nice enough to invite me on just to do a little one-on-one kind of tester, if you would. But it's pretty cool. I like this concept. If you are listening to this means that we didn't scrap this concept entirely, and even better, if there are visuals to this, there's a good chance I made them, but who knows? There might just be nothing. Might just be a PNG of a sock on the screen. You never know.
Yeah, and it's just I think going to like picking you, like I thought about it when we talked about, if you're subscribed to the Bass After Dark Patreon, I believe it's gonna be episode 79 where we talked about like how we could like move the podcast in a different direction, or that maybe we have like an identity crisis. We talk over each other, you know, the conversations can't be as intimate. And instead of like completely changing the podcast again, even though we didn't really change a whole lot, we just mainly changed like the production side of things.
Yeah.
And like the idea of having a RuneScape guest on every week, we just decided to like fly solo.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been you guys for a while on the podcast, and I feel like at some points it's hard to say. Basically, I noticed in some of the times I was watching the Bass After Dark podcast that there were some issues or social frictions that would happen when you're running a podcast with, again, more than 3 people in it at once.
Yeah.
I personally believe like 3 people is the sweet spot for podcasts, especially because it lets people have a really good one-on-one conversation. But if things get dry, or you can always have a guest in the third seat, that little spice of the third person helps keep it alive. 2-man podcasts are pretty good. I listen to one called Forehead Fables sometimes, and usually that's just been a one-on-one for a while, and it's pretty funny, these 2 guys just going back and forth. They'll have a third, like a guest or whatever, but like with Based, sometimes there'd be 4, sometimes even 5 people present at once, and it gets pretty hectic because we're all like RuneScape players, right?
Yeah.
So we have people with the social skills of a pair talking over each other.
And it's not really even just that though. Like obviously, like ego is going to come into play, whether it's like conscious or subconscious, right? You know, especially like the way that the conversation's going. Someone might have something they really want to add because like they know something very specific about what's being talked about. I've been in that that seat so many times when I produce the Bass After Dark podcast. I'm just sitting there yapping about something, and I have like insider information that I could fill in, but I'm not really even on the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. You're just running behind the scenes. That's like to get like a super normie example. That's like the Joe Rogan podcast, and Jamie is like the perfect person to talk about a subject he's discussing. But nope, he's the audio guy. Like it's his job to be silent. You know what I mean? And just kind of monitor everything.
Yeah, and the amount of times that I have heard Jamie like chime in, like he seems like a natural.
Sometimes you really feel a burning urge to discuss something or say something, but when there's so many people talking in a podcast, it's hard to get a word in. And especially for you, specifically because you are the producer, you have a unique POV because you're always present. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And like I remember like the first couple of times of me like I say chiming in, I was interrupting them. I was just trying to find like the best opportune time to interrupt them because there's really no
Yeah.
gentle way of going about that. I have like thought about like making a little ding sound in the Discord for be like that's the, like the producer bell that like the SaintTits wants to chime in
Yeah.
and whatnot. But back to like the podcast itself and like what Base Tapes is going to try to quote unquote fix. Based After Dark's not going to go anywhere. If anything, we're going to like maybe embrace the 3-man cast more. Instead of always trying to like have more than 4 people on or worrying about getting a guest on. There are people that I do want to have on that main cast, and I'm telling you right now, if Base Tapes like is successful, you guys are going to be getting a plethora of different little types of podcast from these. It's like between Tasty, T Papa, Prison Joe, myself, hell, even you, Asterix, if you want to interview someone or have a friend on or you want to do something, you can be a part of the Base Tapes. I don't give a fuck. If it's good, it's good.
Well, yeah, the reality of like making something new is that there are no ground rules. Like at any point, you could just change the entire concept of what this could be, and provided people enjoy it, they'll care about it. If no one enjoys it, then whatever. At least we tried. But I think it's pretty cool that there's so much potential with what this could be and what we can get going on. It's pretty sick. Now, moving on, I wanted to bring up a point. What's with modern games and why do they suck? Why do they suck so bad?
Money. I think. I think greed. I think the ultimate evil of the world is has finally like caught up to it. And like I do remember back in the day when video games like became popular and like, but that I mean, before we were born.
Yeah,
we missed the craze entirely. We were born into it. And we missed the whole like Reaganomics of like the Nintendo cartridges and whatnot. Imagine being like a 15-year-old and wanting a Nintendo, like the Nintendo 64.
Dude, the dopamine hit you must have gotten from Christmas morning opening a Nintendo 64 is insane. Now, dude, like my dopamine receptors are fried. Me and everyone else I know my age will just like, all right, they go to work, they go gym, they come home, they scroll TikTok, eat and drink at their TV watching YouTube. They scroll TikTok in bed, they wake up, they kind of loop. It's like, there's just like, what's going on, man? You open the video game, oh, surely this will be fun. 18 battle passes, Nicki Minaj in Fortnite, throwing it back on you for a victory royale crazy style. Like how did we even get here, dude?
The pre-bonuses, the pre-orders, the shit cosmetics, man.
Digital collectors deluxe edition Giga Dorito Mountain Dew sponsorship Monster Energy can deal. Holy shit, man. I remember I used to listen to my dad. He said like when I was like a little ass baby, so this is probably like, I don't know, maybe like 2002, 2003 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
My dad like played a lot of Diablo 2, and like I didn't really know this until I grew up and he told me about it. But he used to play a lot of Diablo 2, and he would just like, even now he hasn't played Diablo 2 in decades, okay? Decades. But that game has left such a firm impression on him. He can recall all the details about the dungeons. Like, it sounds mythical. Like, he describes fighting, like, the Butcher or these, like, dungeon bosses. Like, it's, like, a legendary titanic battle. Like, truly worthy of song. Like, some crazy cinematic shit. But then I look up, like, Diablo gameplay, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, compared to, like, Path of Exile 2 now, like, it doesn't look that crazy. I like, now that I'm an adult and I played it, I like Diablo 2. It rocks, right? But, like, the magic of just him having a game, buying a box, and knowing like, okay, there's not going to be any bullshit in it. Like, if I suck at the game, it's my own fault, basically. Mm-hmm. And you can't pay to get better. Well, you can buy gold, of course. I digress. But at the end of the day, I feel like part of that magic is what made old school games so good. It's that factor of like, you know what you're going to get, and there's no way to pay your way through it.
Yeah, I feel like the first time that like I truly understood a video game was like playing through Kingdom Hearts 2 when I was like 13.
Yeah.
I think that's when like I finally like caught the grasp of like what a good game is. And like I understand Kingdom Hearts 2 is kind of a weird concept for that, but like for the time that's what I was into. Even though you go back and you play and the dialogue is fucking terrible. It's fucking garbage dialogue, dude. Fucking Square Enix fucking dialogue is terrible, but I digress. The gameplay's fantastic. But it's so funny how like video games started, you know, you had Pong, you know, you had Tetris. And then eventually, like when the home console started becoming a thing, video game manufacturers had to make a game that, when people bought it, they didn't just immediately beat it, right?
Mhm.
So they
Yeah,
they made
exactly.
these games super fucking hard, like super fucking
Oh
difficult.
yeah, like
And
OG arcade style games. Like, oh dude, you got to insert a coin to continue. Like, oh
yeah,
man, I died once. Damn, like if this game wasn't so hard, I wouldn't have spent $15 to keep putting coins in. You know what I mean?
yeah, and for the time, it was to fix it was to fix a problem, right? And later on, eventually that problem gets fixed with technological advances, memory gets increased, technology becomes cheaper. You can create
Yep.
bigger games for less.
You can have save files that
Yeah,
aren't
same.
destroying your device. Yeah.
Yep, that too. And it's just crazy to like that was the start, and then I feel like in the early 2000s to maybe like the 2010s, I really feel like was like the golden age of gaming. Because that I think you had Xbox 360 online, you
Yep.
had PlayStation 3 online. That was the
Yep.
biggest online gaming had ever been. It started to become available to everyone because you
Yeah.
could connect your PS2 to the internet. You could connect your Xbox to the internet. A lot of people didn't do it because they didn't even know about
Yeah.
it.
Nah, dude, like for real, like I did not even like my 10-year-old brain in 2010 could not comprehend that I could be playing Call of Duty, Modern Warfare or whatever it was, online with other people. I was just like having fun in split screen with my little brother, going crazy style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize, and like I still got so much enjoyment and fulfillment. And now I partially wonder, is that because the games were just better at the time, or is that because I didn't know how good things could get and games are actually better now, but because I'm desensitized to them, I just don't enjoy it as much, or maybe I'm used to it. You know what I mean? Like, is overabundance of games in the market, like almost infinite options for what type of game I want to play. Maybe that's making games less fun. Because back then, like, oh, yo, my dad bought me this Call of Duty game for my birthday. That's the only game on my Xbox I'm going to get for like 7 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's what made it so dopamine inducing. Like, this is it. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm jaded.
No, I think that's just part of getting older. I think you just get more jaded as you get older. The more shit you see, the more used to it you're going to get, right? That's just with anything.
That getting older factor and getting used to things is also being layered with the fact that the games industry is booming in terms of how many indie titles and stuff is being pushed out at a massive rate. Like during the COVID era, everything kind of like took a step down. We didn't get so many games releases and stuff like that. But now that we're coming out of it, like, holy smokes, we're back to the AAA yearly COD slop. You know what I mean? Like everything's just going back to normal. We're getting so many games. And it's probably easier than ever for indie developers to make games too. Even with minimal programming knowledge, with stuff like Game Maker and stuff on Steam. Like I've seen some indie games actually do well, and like it just started with a bunch of pre-made assets and it turned into something decent.
Yeah,
But
I think going back to like the Xbox 360 days when like Halo 3 came out, and like that was like my first experience like going online was
Yeah,
Halo
yeah.
3. And to bring back your point, is it like am I just jaded? I think it's a bunch of different variables. When we were kids don't know any better. I mean, God, for thousands of years, all kids had were their imagination and then like the tools around them, a stick,
yeah,
dirt.
literally stick and rock.
Yeah, and they would make forts and whatnot. And then when you bring in the creativity of video games, especially with a good game that like lets you explore that creativity, it doesn't hinder it. It doesn't keep you in a box. It shows you what you can do, and then it lets you fucking loose. I feel like a lot of games used to have to do that because they didn't have the technology to hold your hand or to keep you on the straight and narrow path.
That's true. Like it wasn't even that they couldn't, it wasn't that they chose not to do a tutorial. To a certain extent, even if they had a tutorial, it was limited to just text. Or like, you remember like at like EB Games or GameStop or something,
Dude,
they
EB
would have
Games.
like the books, like a text guide.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I had a few of those for like Pokemon and stuff when I was a kid. Those were crazy.
You needed
Can you
them.
imagine pulling up a literal binder to look up how to do a quest on RuneScape in the current year? Runelite Quest Helper. done. Like it's
Yeah.
night and day how we approach tutorials and how much assistance the player gets in the modern day compared to like honestly anywhere from 2005 to 2010, right?
Yeah. I definitely feel like the average gamer is spoiled. But I
Oh yeah,
also
my god.
I also feel like companies have gotten extremely fucking lazy, and they think that if they just make a game with good graphics and good marketing, and it's appealing, and it's like that other game that did popular. Surely it'll do well, and then it doesn't do well, and they're like, well, what the fuck? Why didn't it do well? And it's like because it's 2025. If I play a game, I need purpose in the game, and like not run around and do this like fetch quest and go kill 10 whatever. Like no, I need like some real interaction. I need to be able to do some cool shit for the time that I'm
Yeah.
investing. Cuz now as an adult, I'm not going to invest the time if like I'm not having fun. And if
Yeah.
that's what
Exactly.
kills the video game loop cycle for me. I feel like is I play a game for an hour and I'm like the rest of the game is going to be this, isn't it? And I'm not having that much fun. And then I play another hour and it's the same shit and it's like okay.
Yeah. Dude, that's a perfect segue. That reminds me, that whole idea, like what you just said there kind of stood out to me, where you're just like, you know, I'm an adult, I only have so much time, right? And you want it to be fun because at the end of the day, you're basically wasting time. You're sitting down and saying, all right, like I could be editing this, or I could be setting up something like that,
Yeah.
or I could go gym or whatever. But no, I'm gonna spend 1 to 2 hours. I'm gonna play this game. And the worst possible thing with that time is to lose it and not have fun at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no bigger self-sabotage than having 1 hour to study before a test in high school and saying, you know what? Just one more game of League of Legends, inting, getting griefed, raging, and then feeling like garbage because not only did you procrastinate and waste your time, but you didn't even have fun wasting your time.
Yeah.
It wasn't even fun. You're just upset now. And that is partially kind of the reason why, at first, for context, in terms of like classic or old school RuneScape, I have a main that's like fairly close to maxing. But every time I think about playing the game again and trying to like actually max the account, finish off the rest of the stats, it's just so boring.
What's the point?
I can't justify. Yeah,
What's
like
the
I can't
point?
justify spending another 200 hours just skilling, man. Like, okay, sure. It could be 50 hours if I real world traded 500 million gold. But like, first of all, I'm not going to do that. And second of all, what's the point? Like, I don't even have fun skilling. And so all the time as the editor of Behemeth, people will message me, oh, you edit so much RuneScape, you know, like that must get tiring. Do you play the game? And the reality is like on and off, I do some PKing every now and then. But by and large, it's not even watching RuneScape as like a job that killed my enjoyment for RuneScape. It's the fact that at a certain level with skilling, if you're not turbo addicted and you're not just keeping up that dopamine, that addiction, you're not like locked in. If you take a big break and then come back and go, all right, let's pick up where I left off, you just realize how much of an absolute chore it is to like train rune crafting to 99. You know what I mean? Like I just don't want to do that.
Anything.
And then
anything
yeah,
and
like,
dude, like I'm glad you brought up this point because there's no one that has a bigger beef with RuneScape than me. And
RuneScape's #1 op. Holy shit, everyone watch out.
I am completely fallen out with RuneScape. The rose tinted glasses have been shattered for me. It's not worth it. I don't think any MMO RPG is worth it. I really think MMO RPGs are one of the biggest waste of time in modern gaming. I really do. I really think that if you look at the hours that you put in for the rewards, they're not equitable. They are not.
Oh no, yeah. Ultimately, that's why I've like, for context, now to preface what I'm about to say, MMORPGs are my favorite genre of game. I always get the most enjoyment out of them, and my whole life I've always thought they're just very fun, very addictive. But that being said, I 100% agree. And now that I'm older, there's an old buddy, for example, that I had I was hanging out with in college. And when I was in college with him, I was playing a lot of RuneScape, and he started playing with me. But he quit pretty early on, and I was like, oh, whatever, like, I'll just keep playing. You know, I got pretty high, got really high total level, started getting untradable, started farming the account, started to learn how to solo cox and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Checked up with this guy 2 or 3 years later, And I was like, yo, man, so you playing any games? He's like, no, like I haven't been playing any games or anything like that. Like I actually just like I like to work out in my spare time. Now, me as well, but I looked at this guy and he started working out way before me. And that 1,000 hours over the course of like 1 to 2 years of playing RuneScape, he just substituted for lifting. And this guy got jacked as hell, but the rest of his life didn't change. I'm like, damn, I played 1,000 hours of RuneScape, but now I have carpal tunnel and my room's kind of dank. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, shit, man. Like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, and like, if you're gonna play any game, like the number one motivation for playing a game is obviously yourself, right? Like self-motivation,
Yeah.
self-goals. You know, if you have fun doing it, I'm not gonna knock you for doing it. Fucking do it. Have fun. If you want to make a fucking Sims family that murders people, like, and that's what you do in your spare
Yeah.
time, fucking go for it. I can empathize with that way more than someone being like, you know what, I'm gonna max an Iron Man account.
Oh yeah, welcome to my chunk locked Iron Man. Oh, dude, shoot me! Holy fuck!
Yeah, not just I'm not just an Ultimate Iron Man. I'm an Ultimate Iron Man bound to fucking the hardest place in the game.
Yeah, welcome to my chunk locked, UIM locked, nut locked, no nutting chastity challenge Iron Man, where every time I blink staring at my screen and I lose a tick of XP, I automatically get tasered on my nutsack. Like, dude,
Bro.
people are so insane. Like,
People-
it's honestly, it's just RuneScape players.
People
too.
talk about
Like-
going back in time to kill Hitler. I think we need to go back in time and kill Settled. I think he caused this fucking pandemic of just
He
fucking.
did. Honestly, like there were snowflake irons, but like they were rare. They're like a myth in your clan chat. You know what I mean? It's like, yo,
Yeah.
what do you? Why does that iron not have his Dragon Defender yet? It's like, oh no, he's on a locked account. He can't go to Berthorpe yet. He can't go to the Warriors Guild. And you're like, oh, it's kind of weird. I mean, okay, well, you're already making the game harder, whatever. Then Settled came out. All of a sudden, every single YouTuber, welcome to my Mortania locked adjacent PvP only Bronzeman UIM hardcore. You know, like, dude, it's nuts, man. Like, he was the
Welcome to
progenitor
my
of that
leap
shit.
year only Iron Man, where I only play the days on the leap year. And it's like, okay, shut the fuck up. No one gives a shit. No one gives a fuck.
Dude, nobody cares, man. That stuff is just artificially making the grind longer. The only merit that those videos have outside of, you know, like, oh, look how gangster I am for grinding hard as fuck and making the game harder because I'm not a casual like you. Outside of that, the only real appeal that I actually, you know, admittedly enjoy from those styles of accounts, like the snowflake irons, is just finding creative ways to solve problems because of limited resources. That's one of the only things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
It's like a homage to Minecraft Skyblock. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, you're only starting with so little. How can you possibly, you know, how can you expand? How can you get more? You only have like just yourself and like a tree. How do you get more than this? And then you see someone late game and they started with the same thing, but they have a lot. Limited resources, I think, breeds creativity, and that makes for an interesting viewer experience. So it's like, oh, he's only allowed to play this account and he has to get ready for Tob, but he can't do anything outside of Mortania in Settled's case, right? Like with Swampletics. Like, that's cool. I like the concept, but a lot of the clones I feel like missed the point. Where they took that concept, but it lost a lot of the magic of having limited resources. And while they might have had limited resources, a lot of the stuff like Tile Man and shit like that, like, you're literally just making the game so much longer, and it's already a multi-thousand-hour grind for an average casual to max, for example. And
Yeah.
you know, obviously there's like, you know, crazy, super efficient sweats who tick manipulate, but I'm not talking about that. The average player will probably take a few thousand hours to max, realistically speaking, maybe even more. And you're already on a limiting account on an iron, and now you're gonna just extend that duration by 1,000 to 2,000 hours. It's like, what are you doing in your life that permits you to spend this amount of time on RuneScape? Genuinely, you know?
Yeah, and I want to clarify. I think Settled is a fantastic content creator. I think honestly a genius.
Oh, dude, he deserves those golden gnomes.
No,
for sure. Like,
absolutely. But because here's the problem with Swampletics. It created it's the Mr. Beast effect for the RuneScape content creation community, in my opinion. Mr. Beast raised the bar so fucking high that it literally saturated the YouTube market. It saturated the content market.
Oh,
And-
yeah, the clones spawned everywhere.
Yes, and that is the exact same thing that happened with the success of Swampletics. And that is by no means Settle's fault. That's just what happens. Something becomes popular. A million
That's just the
different
market.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah.
Yeah, it's not his fault or anything, but I know what you mean. Like, it just went viral as a concept. The viewership on it was nuts because it was kind of it was like a novel idea. It was new. It was fresh. It was entertaining.
It was
the way
fashion.
he did it as well. Yeah, and his style of doing it and how he already did all the gaming. He already did almost all of the grind, but then he was giving all of it to you in a nicely edited and presented way where the pacing was fresh for the viewer. You didn't have to tune in to twitch.tv/settled and watch him actually try to get a rune crossbow. He would just tell you that he's going to go for it and then do a time lapse of probably hundreds of hours, etc., etc. Just obviously that's not a perfect example, but you know what I mean. The point is, he made it bite-sized and digestible. He took a multi-thousand-hour grind and then set the pacing so that you're wondering if he's even going to get it. Is he actually going to get that item on his account? How is he going to do that? And then he outlines his game plan, and the editor's going crazy style on the graphics. You know, like, it was just very nice to watch. And I think the way he delivered the content, his narration, his game plan, and then having all of the grind already done and recorded allowed him to just constantly drop bangers and bombs for these videos. And then everyone was like, yo, this is popping off, hundreds of thousands of views. Let me do this. Unfortunately, that's where I think the problem starts to arise.
Well,
because now you can't just copy him.
No.
Because what are you going to do? Make an iron that's only locked to Mortania? You're just going to make a Swampletics 2? It's like, no, okay, now you're a copycat. So you try other areas of the game, but maybe they don't work out so well. You know what I mean?
Well, not even just that. There were already other content creators that have established those fucking regions too. Before there was the underground guy, there was the desert only guy, there was
the vegan versus Zuck guy where he was only allowed to
my gay boyfriend's cat account. You know, it's fucking I don't know, but.
My gay boyfriend's cat.
The difference,
Bob.
The difference between like Settled and like all the content creators that were like already kind of doing this is they actually took the time and planning for the account. Like they did all the research and like so it could be a full series. And I feel like a lot of these other accounts that saturated the market, I don't think they really thought it all the way through. I think they just found like the first thing they could leap on. Logged onto the new account and hit fucking record.
Oh, odd, yeah. They literally are like, oh, yo, Karamja? Fuck it. Karamja locked account. Let's go, baby. Like, yo, let's go crazy style. And it's like, all right.
The RuneScape community has been making content about RuneScape for so long, man. And, you know, RuneScape it's a big game, but it's finite. It's very finite. Just like everything. But, like, you could only do so much. And it is so hard now to make a new series and it like be cohesive and have like a good base and like a foundation for it to be supported on and to like continue. That like you're kind of having to take other content idea series and put it into RuneScape, like Gillinor Games. That's just Survivor. That's
literally,
Survivor, but
we're
RuneScape.
getting to the point where, because RuneScape's such an old game, a lot of this stuff's already been done. So instead of reinventing the wheel, we're just trying to find new ways of, spinning the narrative of, oh, it's a RuneScape series, but how do we make it fresh? And like you're saying, it's just borrowing from other media, borrowing from other challenges that a YouTuber's done. Like, oh, I'm going to make a Snowflake UIM, and it's going to be like what Settled did, but different. Or here's Gillinor Games. It's like a game show. It's like Survivor, but no, it's actually in RuneScape. Or here's a tutorial series. It's kind of like Slayer music, but I'm gonna edit it differently and have a different style of humor. It's just a lot of reskins, and I think that leads to the oversaturation of RuneScape content. Which, hey, on one end, maybe I shouldn't bash that because it is my job to edit it. More people making RuneScape videos, more editing.
I was
work
about
for
to
me.
actually say if there's the number one contribute to saturation of RuneScape content, do you not think Behe is kind of a part of that with the daily uploads?
Behemeth? Behemeth is to RuneScape what McDonald's is to Americans. The
staple.
Some people don't like it. Some people love it. Some people are there every damn day. Some people are there maybe once or twice a week, and some people think if you consume it, you're garbage, and they look down on you. But the reality is, it's just like a community, it's like a community hub channel. I always viewed Behemeth as like the fast food of the RuneScape world, where it's a little bit of news, we'll let you know what's going on in the game, and then we'll just show you some highlights from people playing the game. At the end of the day, we're not really creating a narrative with Behemeth, and I say we, but the producers, Tasty, actual OG Behemeth, and the rest of the crew. I just put that stuff together. But being involved in the process, I can say, a lot of people expect when they click on a RuneScape video, all right, I want it to be like the hero's story that you see in fiction, right?
Yes.
It's like the Inception. They want like a plot, basically. It's like, what's going to happen to this guy's Iron Man? How is he going to get through early game?
They want
all right, how's he
going to
get us untradables?
That's what they
want
fucking
Game
want.
of Thrones,
they want
right?
fucking
Yeah,
Game of Thrones.
They want like drama and plot to it. And so a lot of people, when they see a clips channel or a highlights channel, they automatically go, oh, no plot, thus no effort. No effort, just clip slop. You know what I mean? And that's actually just not the truth. Well, yeah, it's a daily upload channel. There's actually a lot of work that goes in clip selection. We have to screen stuff. Editing isn't just cutting between both of them with no commentary. Actually, on YouTube, for most channels, you can't even do that anymore. YouTube will actually give you trouble now if you just play YouTubers clips back to back with no changes, or streamers clips back to back with no changes, no editing, no commentary. Like, you have to add enough to make it your own. Otherwise, you're just reposting someone else's content, which is why I really tried to focus down recently on the Behemeth channel to the news segments and make the news. Like, we recently shifted the news to the start of the videos, for example, as opposed to like a 2-minute interlude in the middle and then getting back to the clips. And I think that structuring really made the pacing of the video a lot more palatable, because it's like, all right, here's the meat and potatoes. Imagine it kind of like a dinner. Here's the upcoming news. Here's maybe some drama Jagex is in, and then here's some art submissions from the community or like funny Reddit posts and memes. And then after that, it's like the dessert, where it's like, here are some notable highlights for the video, or like cool Twitch clips, or maybe someone popped off and got a world record at a boss, right? And I like that structure a lot better for the daily videos, because while it is a daily highlights channel, we're adding a little bit of that plot that I had mentioned that someone might crave when they're looking for a RuneScape video. They might not recognize that they're looking for it, but I think it makes something captivating if you have staggered layers of content in a video, instead of, okay, just immediately the second you play it, it's just some dude's Twitch clip, like 61 mil PK'd a guy for 100 mil. And then he just looks at the camera and goes, no way, dude, no way. And then instantly, with no context, it cuts to like no monkey going like, Jagex, I really think everyone should vote
Jagex,
no.
I really think that like the 3-tick manipulation needs to be really looked at. It's overpowered, really, man.
yeah, literally. Instead of just that, which a lot of people who watched old school BE before I stepped in and started doing a lot of the editing, he would just do some commentary, I noticed, but there wasn't like a formal news structure a lot of the time, or much news at all. It was mainly just the clips.
Wait, can I?
And I feel like,
not to interrupt your pacing, but can I just do my Behemeth news impression?
Yeah, fuck it, go crazy.
Today on Reddit, this dude was really upset, so we're gonna talk about it. That's basically it. That's basically it. But continue. Sorry.
No, dude, legit. It's so funny. It's like, I'm so happy. Like, he really locked it in. Like, he's been doing pretty good on the recent stuff. But I remember before I started working with him a while ago, probably a couple years ago, 2 or 3, I remember some of the news segments before either of us really like fully realized what the channel could become. It would just be like, all right, good day, legends. Here's Rickendow doing Tob. That was it.
Dude, it's so funny because if people probably don't know this, I've not talked about it, but I've edited a few Behe videos in my time, and I've done and I've done even more like pre-cuts because you had other things going on, helping out the channel.
Oh yeah.
And the only videos that I've only helped on, no, I've helped on a few Tasty, but the majority of them have been OG Behe.
OG Aussie Behe, yeah.
And dude, listening to him and his takes, bro, kills me. It kills
me. It's so funny. I love, dude. He's a gem. He OG Behemeth is honestly such a legend. Like, he's actually a gem.
I want to drink
sometimes. Dude, I want nothing more than to just go to Australia for a based meetup and just like have beers with OG Behemeth. It'd be so sick.
That'd be
man.
so sick, bro.
That'd
Fucking
be so sick.
based
I love
Australia.
him.
That'd be sick.
Although from the production side of things, sometimes I feel like he is like he's the loose cannon of the Behemeth enterprise, the Behemeth team. Tasty's very charismatic. He's very progressive. He's he's always making sure, all right, this is not a drama channel, guys. Like, very ethically pure. He's like morally good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not that Behemeth isn't morally good. He's a very sweet guy. Like, he's actually just like,
he's a businessman.
Generally, he's a businessman. He's very nice. But he's very frank, and I feel like a lot of the Australian humor, especially for guys his age, because sometimes I forget, dude, he has like a wife and kids. Like I say we're adults, but he's a grown ass adult man. You know, he has a family.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like his humor it's a bit too blunt, or like a lot of the banter that he has, we'll have to reel back. And so sometimes when I'm editing some of the videos or something, he'll say something, and I'll die laughing. I think he's so funny, but then I'll be like, oh, you know, like, Tasty, is this joke okay? Like, it's a little spicy. Should we leave this in? And Tasty will just DM me and be like, okay, dude, like, maybe we shouldn't include that in the video. And so I'll have to prune a couple of things here and there. But that being said, ultimately at the end of the day, everyone in Behemeth and Based is super cool. I don't think that's the beauty, honestly. Do you have any beef with anyone? Have you ever had beef with anyone on the Based After Dark podcast? Because like, luckily on the Behemeth side of things, we've always been cool. We've never had any issues, which is awesome.
I've never between in-house and like just guests, I can't recall one bad interaction with anyone. The only beef that I have is people that don't send me their goddamn POVs on time.
Is there anyone you want to call out? Any recent experiences of someone not giving the producer audio?
Hey, Messiah, I'm not mad at you, and I would love, if you want to come on a Base Tapes, we could talk about it, but bro, you had me a little worked up when I asked you multiple times for your POVs, man. You didn't send it.
Dude, he was too busy dropping house bangers and making Slay of the Day or something.
No, he doesn't do music anymore, bro. He's not touched music.
No?
No, yeah,
no,
he hasn't.
Endor, no.
Yeah, dude, he's made his bag, dude. Especially after like the substance coming out, and like, you know, they didn't ask permission to use his song in that movie, right? Do you know about that?
Wait, really?
So have you seen The Substance? Have you seen that movie?
No, but I after people started tweeting about him, and like old school RuneScape Twitter started like, you know, picked up that the Messiah guy was also low-key a really famous music producer. Everyone was posting that clip, and then I saw it, but I haven't watched the film entirely now.
So that movie blows up, and they use that song in that movie. So when he comes on the podcast, I asked him, I was like, when did they contact you to use your song? Because I have a buddy that works in California with movie companies. He works with like a whole fucking movie industry company. I don't know what the name of it is, but he gets me all the movies before they come out. So shout out him. But I asked him, like, when do they? How was the process? Did they tell you before the movie? Did they tell you like after, or like how'd it go? And it turned out that they didn't contact him. They didn't contact his label. They just used an altered version of his song in the movie. It's nowhere online.
What?
It's nowhere online, and you can't find that version that's used in the movie anywhere. And it's not credited. It's not in the...
so they wanted to escape like copyright infringement basically by modifying it enough to where if you wanted to like pursue it legally, they could have some stance to defend it and say, well, no, it's not yours. It's different. We tweaked it. Man, that's skamaz.
Indirectly, that caused his song to blow up. Because when people heard that song, it's one of the main staples of the movie. Like, they play it.
I didn't realize how important it was.
It's very important for the movie. A lot of intense moments, that song is playing. And so when people look it up, his version of it pops up. So it blew that song up. That song's from 2019.
Oh, shit. No way.
Yeah. And the majority of the views, like the millions of views, have come from that movie blowing up. He was already like an established house DJ tech anyway. Like, he was signed to a label, so he was already making money off of it, and he already had a couple songs, you know, pop off in playlist. But he talked about like the grueling effort of making a track after track after track after track and sending them in, and all of them get rejected, and then like maybe 1 out of 8 would slip through it and be accepted to like be released.
Yeah.
And
wow,
dude,
that's nuts.
Imagine having to make 8 Behemeth videos. And then like he's like, all right, we'll use this one. Thanks.
Yeah, dude, speaking of which, I've seen some other editors online. Dude, I've seen, it's so scary. I'll be on like an editing forum and some guy will be like, "Yo guys, is this client worth taking?" They want to charge, they're going to be like, "All right, we'll pay you $5 for one YouTube short, but we need 40 YouTube shorts done by the end of the week." And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, when did people think this is an acceptable rate? Like, it's scary how much producers and editors get lowballed by people who've never edited or done any audio production a day in their life. They just don't realize what goes into it.
They really don't, bro. They think that you just slap it in and then like it does it for you. No, nothing is done for you. There are certain programs that will hold your hand, quote unquote, hold your hand more than others, but you still have to think of it and implement it, and then you don't get to decide if it's good. That's the scary part. You don't get to decide if anything is good. You just have to think it is. You have to believe in yourself. And that's scary. That
Oh no, dude, it's actually fucking horrifying, man. Like, the creative process is such a mentally unusual job to have. Like, sometimes I'm envious. I'll have some of my friends in real life, they'll complain, like they'll work a job that pays pretty well, but it'll be in trades, right?
Yeah.
They're like, "Man, that was rough as hell, man. Like, my forearms hurt from having to like do this." Like, I don't know, I'm not going to leak their jobs or anything, but like, I was doing this physical labor for a while. Like, yeah, it was pretty good. I got paid like $45 an hour, but like, man, that's rough. Like, you have it so easy. You just get to sit in a chair. But I'm like, yo, but like, you don't have to come up with a novel concept for like a multi episode series and then collaborate with someone who might not see eye to eye on you on it, and then have to go through stages of revisions and stuff. Like, okay, your revision is basically, oh man, that fucking screw's a bit loose, let me fix it because someone was complaining. That's your revision. And now I'm not saying that this is, necessarily a hard job or anything. I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I do and edit like full time.
Yeah.
But I think it's just an underlying misconception. That's generally what I'm actually trying to address. It's an underlying misconception that creative work in general is easier just because you can stay and work from home. It's like, oh, work from home. That's a comfy job. That's cozy. Yeah, it's super cozy. I love it. That's why I do it. But there's nothing easy or cozy about having to do anything creative repetitively, right? Like, on a repeated basis, weekly or daily, having to make something new every day or every week. Like, that's really hard. And some people just aren't cut up for it. Like, you can be fantastic at editing, but maybe it's documentary editing. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's something that's very structured and pre-planned for you. Maybe that's where you'll excel. But if you actually have to, like, no one's telling you how you should edit this graph. Like, let's say they want a graph of like most efficient 99 to get in RuneScape. They just say, oh, make me a graph. They don't have any reference. You just have to know, oh, what plugin am I going to use? How am I going to animate the bars for the graph? What font am I going to use? Like, you just have to know instinctively and get a feel for it. And I think that's a challenge that that's an aspect of the job, creatively speaking, that a lot of people don't really appreciate.
Yeah. It's being able to streamline it, to streamline your knowledge into like what you're doing efficiently, right? To make the video good and like the way that you envision it, right? At least, especially like if you have a client that's giving you creative control, that's already like really good. I feel like.
Oh no, that's beauty. Yeah. And
thankfully with Top Tuesday, I have that creative ability, but man, the beginning stages of it was super fucking hard. Because I didn't know a whole lot, man. If you go back and you look at the first Top Tuesday with Kinix, I made that on fucking Wondershare.
Oh, Wondershare?
I made that on...
I don't even know what that is, bro.
Yeah, it's
Is that Filmora?
Filmora, that's what it is.
Filmora, yeah. Oh, dude, that's ancient tech, man. Yeah, I edited the first ever Behemeth in Adobe After Effects, by the way.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that you fucking you goblin.
Dude, for the viewers, that's like for animators. You should not be editing videos and cutting footage in an animation software. No, that's like, oh, dude, I'm gonna edit this podcast in Blender. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
I'm gonna edit this podcast on my PlayStation.
Dude, I'm mixing this new Kendrick Lamar beat in Audacity.
Dude, don't hate on Audacity, bro. I guarantee you, if you gave a talented producer with samples in Audacity, they could make some fucking bangers.
Yeah, but my point is, why would you in Ableton and FL Studio exist? Like, you just use the industry standard software. People would look at you funny if you go to a third-rate option.
Well,
But
dude, it's
to your credit, it's good.
It's still funny though because like, dude, if you like, do you listen to Joji? Obviously, like you're a fan.
Yeah.
You're a fan of Joji. Have you listened to like the first EP, Chloe Burbank?
Yeah. Also, where did that guy go? By the way, I
He's
feel like he disappeared from the internet.
he's trying to get out of his 88 Rising contract right now. I feel like and like do his own
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
I think they're fucking with him. I think him signing that contract and like having to clean up his internet persona, kind of like fucked with him.
Oh, that couldn't have been good for the creative juices. No. When it gets too corporate like that, like record labels, I've heard bad things. Anyways, I digress. Continue.
But he used GarageBand. He's a GarageBand baby. He made a lot of
He
his.
was mixing in GarageBand?
Yes, bro. He was making almost all of his shit exclusively in GarageBand. He couldn't switch.
That's
He couldn't switch. If you go, he did a Kenny Beats freestyle video. Have you seen that series?
Yeah.
The Cave or whatever it's called.
Yeah. He's had like Denzel and shit like that on there,
Yeah,
right?
Ski Mask, a bunch of different people have gone on there where he makes a beat live for them and they sit there and they listen to it and they write lyrics or they freestyle, however they do it. But he goes on there and Joji doesn't say this himself, but Kenny Beats is like, he's like, man, I remember your GarageBand beats were always fucking fire. It's like, it's a shame that you never like switched over to anything. And I think he never switched over to anything because all of his presets, all of his samples, he had already like built up his shit in GarageBand. And like, why switch after that? Like, if you can make good music or a good video in a subpar, quote unquote, subpar program, what's the point? What's the point of switching and having to learn everything over again? And maybe not over again, but like relearn it. And
Yeah.
that's,
To swap softwares.
yeah.
I guess if you're already cooking, like until you reach a point where you're kind of like a little fish in a pond and you're growing so big where the pond can't really feasibly hold what you're trying to do and you have to swap to a bigger one. Until that happens, then that's just forced evolution in an artist's career. It's like, oh, I perfected how to create things with the tools that I have at my disposal. You know, the software, the programs, the hardware, etc. But now all of a sudden, if you start dreaming bigger than that, you see something, you're like, oh, how do they have that like crazy reverb on that synth? Like, I like the way it echoes. Oh, that's a plugin that you can only get in FL Studio. Man, like my next song that I've been working on GarageBand would be crazy if I had that. Now I'm going to learn. Until you have that moment where you're limited by your tools, you're right. To your credit, I actually 100% agree. Like, for example, an extremely talented painter or a sculptor could use rudimentary kids' tools and still pop off. Because it's the artist, not the tools. You know what I mean? Like, if you're actually just cracked and you just have what it takes to go insane and experience and passion and a good creative mind, you can do anything regardless of the tools. Like, to an extent, you might be limited by the software, but going off what you said, I agree. And, like, ultimately, yeah, but how did we get to software in the first point? Because I remember I was dissing on Audacity, and you brought up that no, it's good, and how Joji actually mixed on GarageBand. My point was basically trying to say that software shouldn't be a limiting factor if you're actually good. But I did say that professionals should stick to industry standard stuff because your clients expect you to use that.
But it is though. Software does limit. I feel like it really does because.
Yeah, well, when you get into professional work, yeah, but for hobbyists, not necessarily. Like, learning the fundamentals of editing or mixing a beat can be done in, like, baby's first software. But when it's your job, or, like, you're trying to get into episodic YouTube content, or you're trying to make something professional, it probably is best to learn the basics first, and then swap over to a professional software, just because that's what, you know, you want to look like this guy on the internet, or this person on the internet. They're probably using that. So if you want to look like them, you got to adapt.
Devil's advocate. I firmly believe this. You only have to meet a certain threshold minimum to keep people's attention.
Yeah, for sure. More or less. And I mean, that can be obtained with almost any type of software. Like, I could be editing in Windows Movie Maker to do Behemeth. I mean, it wouldn't look as good, but the flow of the video would be the same. You know, the tasty news session, you know, putting an image on the screen for when to reference a buff or a patch or a new item. Like, the flow would be the same, technically, yes, but there's just that aura, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
that smoothness that you'd lose.
The reason why I say that, I want to bring this up, going back to Messiah. Hi, Messiah. I don't know if you're listening.
Hello, Messiah.
But Messiah talked about, like, he does mainly short content, right? He he doesn't do any long form content. He just does shorts. And
Slay of the Day, crazy series. I actually really like those. They're very well edited.
That's what I'm about to bring up. But he talked about
Oh.
how like it takes him 8 hours almost sometimes for a single short.
Yeah, no, that tracks. I didn't watch his Based After Dark episode, but sometimes I had watched them, and I understand exactly what goes through editing these videos.
No, and I understand
Exactly.
it. My point being is, at some point there will be diminishing returns.
Yes. No, you're right.
And that's in terms of like min-maxing your effort, in terms of like profitability, in terms of like reach. By no means do I want to release a subpar product, because that's just my pride. That's my ego.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you don't want to be known as Tits the shit editor. You want to be known as Tits the goat, who may or may not have overspent an extra 8 hours that he wasn't probably being compensated for in a video.
No, absolutely. And like that, and eventually like that in the long run, I feel like that pays off. But like with what Messiah is doing in like short form content, I feel like it's so volatile that the effort that he's expending on his shorts, if he could just direct that to long form videos.
Oh man, he'd knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
If he had that same attention to detail for a longer form content, for example, or a YouTube series, like, man, he would absolutely cook. I feel like there'd be a really big audience for his style of editing. And he wouldn't have to constantly have such high attention to detail, rapid editing, all these effects constantly. Because, in short form content, like TikTok format, 50, 60-second YouTube shorts, stuff like that, you're expected to have basically constant editing due to how quick and fast paced the video has to be. But if it's long form stuff, he could just have a few, 1 to 2 minute periods in the video that are, edited just as nicely as the Slay of the Day series, but the rest could more or less, he could get away with just gameplay and talking.
Yeah, that's
PvP and talking.
That's the fucking formula, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it would do very well.
I do too, because he's a fucking goat. Dude, the edits he pulls off for these shorts blow me away. Because
he's very good.
I try to like I feel like I hyperanalyze, I don't know, but I try to view it as the consumer. I try to visualize what someone's going to react to my video. How are they going to react to this bit? How are they going to react to the ad segment? Are they going to skip the ad segment? Or are they going to watch because I made it funny? Right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like with shorts, man, the amount of slop that's out there that I've just watched. Like, I've watched a full fucking minute short, and by the end of it, I'm pissed off at myself. Like, God, that sucked. That went nowhere.
Lowest possible production quality. It's almost like it's wasted talent that he's making shorts.
Yes, if he enjoys it and that's the art form.
Well, I mean, I think he enjoys it. It can't be very well monetized. And looking at statistics and the fact that he's
it's
only
not
really
monetized.
posting on,
he hasn't even reached the threshold for partner yet.
Oh, so that's confirmed. It's not. I was about to say I didn't think it was for money. I think it's just for the fucking love of the game, dude.
No,
like,
absolutely it is.
Yeah.
But
then
the business part of me sees that, and it's like, fuck, dude, you should be getting paid for that. I see the value in that. You should be.
Oh, he could very well have a very lucrative side hustle if he found a way to get a YouTube account monetized, for example. Even if it's just shorts. Like, those would go crazy style on YouTube Shorts if he got them monetized and he had some long form content to supplement it, to kind of get the name around there even a bit more than it already is.
Dude, what's crazy is he hasn't reached the 1,000 hour minimum like watch mark for the month, but he has over 12,000 subscribers. That's insane to me.
Oh, that's fucked up. I wonder if it's just because it's short form content.
It's exactly.
I feel like
that's exactly.
Yeah, it's way
reason.
easier to get monetized if you're not making shorts. You know what I mean?
Dude, I've seen sub 5,000 subscriber accounts easily get 1,000 watched hours in a month. Easily. It's not that hard. If you put out a 25-minute video with 20,000 views and it has like a 20-minute watch time, dude, you're already there.
Yeah, it's true. Like, you're going crazy if the first video performs like that.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I mean, I'll move on from glazing Messiah. I really like that guy's content, but hopefully in the future you'll find a way to monetize it because it's stuff's criminally underrated.
Jumping back into like minimizing and maximizing like your work ethic in like terms of like creativity or editing or visual production, AI is going to replace us, dude. It's only a matter of time. I really feel like it's gonna in the next 10 years, bro. We need to go outside. We need to start going outside. Here's what we need to do as editors. All right.
Yeah.
We need to start going outside more.
Okay.
we need to stay in shape.
Okay. I'm working on that one.
And we should probably learn Mandarin.
Okay. Realistically speaking, also perhaps Russian, but we will see. Yeah, I don't know. There's some things AI can't take for a while, which is why I have reasonable job, security.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen pretty interesting examples of text to video creation for AI. Like, make me a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti. That's like the classic one that gets referenced as like a benchmark for how good AI is getting. The original ones were awful. Now we're getting better. Eventually it'll be basically photorealistic. And at what point will AI be able to, in Premiere in the future, you might even have a plugin that, you can pay for where it's like, all right, here's this VOD. Identify parts in my VOD of me streaming RuneScape that are entertaining, cut everything else out, and then cut out the spaces or gaps where I'm not talking or anything's not happening on the screen. And when AI gets to that level, the low tier content editors or VOD editors are going to be out of a job because that's the point where they get replaced because it takes a lot of hours to scrub through VODs. Like that's no joke. I have a lot of respect for people who do that. That's like they're the unsung heroes of editing for streamers. But the higher tier stuff, we're talking specific creative decisions, animation, specific keyframe work, audio mixing, stuff like that. The entire package, I think, overall, everything that makes up a good video, all of those elements, I think it'll be a good 5 to 10 years minimum before AI gets to the point where you can just snap and go, okay, here's my footage of me playing Iron Man. Make a Bodhi video. You know what I mean? Like it'll take a while. So I feel like I'm relatively safe. But the low tier stuff is scary.
Here's what I think is eventually going to happen. So did you hear about DeepSeek?
Yeah, that's the Chinese ChatGPT alternative. That has a bunch of AI functionality in it, right?
Yeah, so it's basically just ChatGPT ripped by a Chinese company, and instead of like $30 billion, they spent $5.6 million. And
that's it?
Yeah, that's it. They spent $5.6 million for this language model, and they did it on old NVIDIA chips. Not even the current. Not even the current ones.
So they got some like slop cologne.
Yes.
Then why have I been hearing so much about it?
Because it's just as efficient. It's just as good.
Oh, what the hell?
It's just as fucking good. And the way that like, dude, I've been doing like a lot of research on this because I'm trying to like utilize more for my videos, and there's so many different things that like these AI language models plugged into different like Python scripts and different programs that just do a lot of cool shit. And one of those things that I've come across is you can make a 3D model of something just off a screenshot of it, and not even you don't even need a 4K screenshot. You don't even need a 2K. He did a 720p screenshot of like a shovel, like a little plastic toy shovel, and ran it through the program and he was using the DeepSeek language model for that program, and it made it. And he could use it for all of it. He could use it for Blender. He could use it for Photoshop. And
dude, I've been paying attention to that stuff. It's kind of crazy. I don't think modelers or anything are going to be out of a job soon because those image to 3D models have pretty horrible topology. I studied modeling and texturing in college for a while when I was studying visual effects and CGI, and the actual like polygon count of those models that are AI generated is atrocious. Like if you wanted to use it in a game or something like that, it would impact your FPS and your performance so much having them present because they're not like the wireframe and the mesh of the model isn't made with a low poly count in order to be optimized, for example. Like there's still a point to having modelers do stuff like that. But if you're just between, do I spend $10 on this like Sketchfab little like model of like a pylon to put in this like little desktop wallpaper I'm animating or whatever it is? Or do I just take a photo of one from the internet and make a super quick and dirty one? If you're not doing any full-on production, I'm talking about a live service video game that has to be optimized for high FPS, or you're not making like literally a feature film, right, with super high VFX studio level budget. If you're not doing any of that, that's where it's like, holy shit, you're in trouble as a modeler. Like exactly what you said.
Well, homebrew.
Just taking a homebrew, exactly, a homebrew.
Homebrew shit, yeah.
Just homebrew shit. That's where the AI tools are really being used right now, like practically, like in this current date, things are going kind of crazy. Like even I use AI for Behemeth sometimes. I will go on the record and say I do. However, it has no place in the video or anything you see. I actually use ChatGPT to organize the links of these streamers in the description when I credit them, and it formats them and adjusts the timestamps. That's what I use AI for. It's basically a utility to help me organize and format URLs for Twitch or Kick profiles, basically, rather than having to highlight and copy and paste them one by one and format them. I just have it run a little formatting script for me. But I wonder, how soon into the future will it be more than that? You know what I mean? I don't like the idea of using visual effects and, using AI in visual effects or anything like that. I think it's kind of weird. It's kind of cringe, to be honest. Especially when you have actual artists who've like dedicated their whole lives to doing stuff better than that, and who could make revisions probably more accurately than an AI would. Because I don't know about you, have you ever messed around with ChatGPT or DeepSeek or anything like that? And if you ever given them a prompt and it's not quite what you want, so you're like, no, could you adjust it to be like this? But the AI just isn't either sophisticated enough yet, or it's clearly misinterpreting what you're saying and it's not doing what you want.
Yeah, no, a lot of hiccups, a lot of hiccups. I understand.
I feel like you and we're pretty safe. And the whole idea of what you said earlier, like AI is coming for our jobs, even if we get to the level where, Behemeth or Tasty could be like, all right, fuck Asterix, right? Yo, hey, ChatGPT, here are the clips for today's Behemeth. Make a Behemeth video, right? Even when we get to that point, imagine how long it's going to take to sort out the hiccups of him trying to make revisions when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
At this frame, this isn't the way it wants to be. Well, now it can't like we have a lot of time, I think. So I feel like AI is coming for our jobs. You're right. But I don't think it's as soon as you think. Not for some very specific creative work like what we do. The bar's too high.
I'm more interested in like the tools that will come out of it. It
yeah.
does worry me, like in terms, because like, dude, it's in its infancy. Like we saw its birth in our like mid-teens to 20s, and by the time we're 60, at the rate technology has already just been expanding in the 21st century, where that shit is gonna be is probably insane if we're not all dead. But
yeah, if we're not all dead, that's the big gamble.
Dude,
right?
I
all be dead,
I almost got tricked yesterday by an AI video. Me.
Yeah.
Me.
Dude, it's crazy. That hit me like a truck earlier. I'm like, yo, dude, we are not immune to propaganda, by the way.
No, dude, like, I gave my parents so much shit, like, growing up, like, being a technological, like, fluent person.
Like, that's clearly AI. Are you stupid?
Yeah,
that's clearly AI.
I would love slam dunking, like, debunked bullshit on my parents. And, dude, I see a clip yesterday. It's supposed to be of Steph Curry at, like, a press conference talking about, like, the recent trades. And, like, for the first 30 seconds, it really looks like Steph Curry is talking about the trades. I don't know, like, a bunch about basketball, but, like, did you hear about Luka Doncic getting traded?
Oh, I heard there's a big trade.
Yeah, if you're a basketball fan, I'm not really into basketball, like, that's huge fucking news. And so I was interested because of the recent news, and he starts, like, he said, damn. And I was like, I'm like, they're allowed to curse at press conferences? I thought they got fined for stuff like that. I guess he's really, I guess he's really passionate. And then all of a sudden I saw him do like a meth tweak. You know, like, tweak.
Yeah, he started tweaking out. He's like jerking, twitching.
He started like twitching. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? What's wrong with him? Why is he doing that? And I had to go to the fucking comments to make sure that, like, this is AI, right?
Yeah. Other people also think it's AI. Yeah, it's not real. That's scary. And, like, dude, I feel like, I don't know about you. I'm the oldest, like, kind of sibling in my family. And so when I was growing up, I was the bastion. I was always the guy, yo, you have a virus on your, like, little brother's computer. Like, yo, yo, Asterix, go fix it. You're the only one who knows how to do that. Oh, yo, how do you install a Minecraft mod? Get Asterix. He always knows how to do that stuff. Or like, yo, is this real? Is this edited? Is this photoshopped?
Yeah.
Ask Asterix. He probably knows. And now AI is getting shockingly accurate to the point where I'll second guess myself.
Yes.
There's a really, really good deep fake by someone who knows what they're doing. I'm like, oh God, like, yo, they're like, yo, yo, does Asterix, do you know? Is this AI? I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know, man.
I
don't
fucking
know.
hope so. I fucking hope so.
Yeah.
Dude, it's gonna be like right now. It's like we're in like this technological AI renaissance, and it feels like it's a gold rush, like back in the day when people like would go to California and like they get their riches, and it's funny how like the Silicon Valley is kind of like still that place where shit's popping off, and like one of them is the AI craze that's currently happening.
Yeah, no, but like with the AI thing, it reminds me of back before crypto started popping off. I remember seeing on like 4chan and stuff, people would be like, yo, buy this Bitcoin. Trust me, one day you'll be rich. And I was like, yeah, fucking whatever, dude. Like, surely not. Looking back, damn, I had like 10 Ethereum at one point, and I sold them for like $50 each to gamble Counter-Strike skins when I was in high school.
Oh,
and I felt like it was like the golden age of being able to get in early if you're smart enough, if you're aware. You can get in and it'll be profitable for you. I feel like with AI, it's a similar thing. If you're into like computer science or programming and you know how to leverage these AI tools before big corporations like claim everything, or you can't do this, or new rules or legality comes out on what you can and cannot legally do. Because right now we're in like the infancy of AI and it's the Wild West.
There are no laws.
You can make
Yeah.
There are no laws. You can deep fake a stranger. That'll probably be illegal soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or it should be.
And so because of that, it should be.
Should be.
But that being said, because right now there are no laws, if you're smart enough to grasp something and find a way to either make someone's life easier, innovate on something, maybe upgrade something, perhaps. This is very abstract, of course, but it kind of reminds me of getting into crypto back when but before it was valued very high. Like it's a golden opportunity that you'll only realize was good in hindsight. Looking back 20 or 30 years, it'll be 2050. Oh man, I should have invested in crazy, like in this AI company that was about to take over the gaming industry in 2028. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. I feel like in the future, I'll be looking back to 2025, January, February, right now. I'll be looking back, oh man, February 2025, I should have totally started messing with AI scripts in Premiere or something. You know, obviously it doesn't have to be like that, but I just can't help but feel it's a pivotal stage in technology. Like it's crazy, some of the stuff that's happening.
No, and like what I think is really one of the main things that's going to come to this, one of my predictions is we're all going to very soon, they're going to start implementing like these little avatars, these AI helpers that will be able to help you do shit on your computer. Just at like the click of a button, or like you could talk to it and it can talk back to you.
Hey Jarvis, jack me off with the auto blow. Sorry.
No, if you have that, dude, the Linux bros are gonna go fucking crazy. You can't tell me they're not.
The programming socks community are gonna go creepy style with that one, man. Let me tell you.
Dude, they already are, bro. There's already AI sex bots that like send you fucking AI generated nudes. It's fucking insane.
That is crazy stuff. Yeah, nah, we're reaching dystopian Blade Runner levels of AI very soon, rapidly.
Bro, the moment robots become fuckable, we're done as a species. Yeah, we're done.
Dude.
We're done.
We're done. Dude, I'm saying 2030. Oh fuck, pack it up. Pack it up, boys.
Dude, if a guy can nut in a silicon flesh pussy, he can fuck one that talks to him.
Yeah, no, legit. Dude, imagine a 5'7" goth mommy RuneScape bot avatar that will help train your rune crafting for you and then jack you off after. Jesus Christ, humans are cooked. We will never
dude. Not only
all these traditional values are going out the window the second technology gets
bro.
good.
Unconditional love will always support you. You'll be able to transfer them to like their IRL avatar to interact with you back to your computer. You'll be able to hook them up like that. Like
dude, it's so scary though.
That is 100% coming. That is 100% going to be a possibility. I don't know if we'll see it like that, like cyberpunk style, But it will, if we continue as a species and like we don't blow ourselves
Yeah.
up or a comet hits us or whatever, that's for sure gonna happen.
Well, I've seen recently in Canada, I don't know if it was a Canadian guy or an American guy, but there was a dude who did, this sounds insane, by the way. He fell in love with a Game of Thrones Daenerys AI chatbot, and he killed himself because he couldn't meet her, basically. It was insane.
We're doomed.
And I'm like, okay.
We're doomed.
Dude, yeah. People are already killing themselves talking to like AI sex bots. Already killing yourselves. Brother, it's not even a physical manifestation yet. What happens when Elon Musk in the year 2050 puts out the $35,000 AI sex doll that's like linked the fuck in with the newest version of ChatGPT? Oh god. Oh dude, the gooners and incels gonna go crazy.
Dude, the crazy part is there's already a huge community of them and they don't even fucking talk yet. They don't even move.
Oh no.
They don't,
no.
they're just fucking a doll, a lifeless doll, and like they talk to it, bro. Once they start talking back, that's when like a quote unquote normal people will start to. Dude, imagine it's 2050. How old are you gonna be in 2050, Asterix?
50.
And I'm not gonna say this as in like this is gonna happen, but let's say you're single. You find yourself recently single at 50 years old, and you're walking by Walmart.
Okay.
And you see in the window, I know Walmart doesn't have windows, but just imagine in the future they do.
Okay, well, the future Walmart has windows like a shopping mall.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And you see the Dinobot, and she's
no.
and she's programmable,
Oh,
and she's
customizable.
lifelike. And
she's realistic.
She'll cook for you. She'll clean. She'll do the laundry. And you know
No
what?
way.
She won't ever nag. She won't ever. Whatever you say goes. She'll have a beer and a sandwich for you all the time.
Oh, I would live like an emperor.
Bro.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking awful.
Women are
I can see
fucked.
how it's tempting.
Women are
I
fucked.
can see how it.
Women are gonna.
Dude, honestly, men could be fucked too. Because what happens if women just get sick with how retarded incel like some of the men can get, and they just go, "Fuck it, give me my Giga Chad 6'5" like AI husband."
They'll have those
instead. Fuck
too.
you.
People, everyone will be fucking robots.
Dude, the vibrating cock. Dude, our birth rates are gonna get slam dunked if that happens.
I don't think that's a bad thing. The moment like we got like towards 5 billion people, like everything just got a little worse in terms of like disasters, right? Famines.
I don't know, man. You hear like people like Elon Musk, obviously horrible fucking example, by the way, but they're claiming, the Earth's underpopulated. We should have so many more people. I'm like, I don't know about that.
And then they use the excuse of like there's so much land out there that people aren't living on. It's like, why do you think that, you dumb fuck? No one wants to live there.
Also, just like, I don't know, like you should just be able to leave land alone. It's a very kind of political, but it's kind of like hyper expansionist to be like every single fucking inch that could be settled and stripped for resources should. It's like, should it?
And it's also like, this is the guy that's saying
now it's an
that we have to go populate Mars, and he's saying that like there's a population crisis on Earth. Well, dude, focus on like one thing, you piece of shit.
Odd, yeah, because like, what's next? Okay, so let's say we breed like crazy. We ban the AI sex bots so people actually keep having families, of course. And then we devour all the natural resources on Earth like locusts, colonize Mars, create sustainable farming that's barely sustainable because we're breeding like rabbits and there's too many of us in the far future. And then what? If we ever get faster than light travel or any reasonable way to settle other planets, theoretically speaking, kind of science fiction, of course, talking out of my ass here. What? By that mentality, do we just go like a parasite planet to planet, and humanity just over the course of hundreds if not thousands of years strips planets of resources? Like, wait a minute, aren't we the fucking bad guys by that point?
No, if it does get to that point, I think we would be the bad guys.
That's very science fiction. That's super far.
Yeah,
that's very
like
abstract thinking.
That's like 100,000 years into the future if we're still here.
That's giga far, which is probably not going to happen. But I don't know. Speaking of humans, speaking of America, how about that Canada? I'm Canadian, you're American. How about this trade war that's going on?
Dude, fuck you.
Dude?
My maple syrup that's not actually maple syrup is going to go up, even though it's made here. I don't understand that.
Dude, in Ontario where I live, that's as accurate as I'm gonna get. I'll tell you guys the province. All of the American liquor just got pulled from all of the stores that sell alcohol.
Yeah, you guys aren't fucking around.
Yeah, and
I
like a
it.
lot of the American products might get pulled if Trump and Trudeau can't like make amends. I heard recently, I think this is like 1 or 2 days ago, basically something about fentanyl being, crossing a border into America, I think.
He's just talking
Trump
out of
was
his
like,
fucking ass, dude.
yeah,
Just
he was like,
fucking-
yo, Trudeau, like lock in and then we'll maybe remove the tariffs. And Trudeau was like, okay, man. Okay.
No, I think they fixed
so, I
it
don't
today, which is the 4th of February. I don't know when this is going to come out, but I think we stopped the 25% tariffs with Canada and Mexico.
Oh, it very well could have happened today. I'm a bit uninformed, but that dude, last week was kind of spooky, man. It feels weird.
Bro.
Like I was seeing news articles, local NHL games going on, like near places that I live. They would have American teams come by, and when they sung the Canadian anthem, everyone's singing it. Sing the American anthem, everyone's booing. Like these are this is a weird political thing to live through. Like, I feel like I'll remember this.
No,
I'll be like
dude,
an old man with grandkids. I remember booing the Americans. Like, what?
We are public enemy number 1 again, brother. And like, not with the bad guys, with our fucking allies. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
And it makes no fucking like when Trump got reelected, which I already figured was gonna happen. I just figured the way the economy's going, the way the job market's going, people are scared. They typically like lean more towards conservative values in terms of like voting.
Yeah, well, people gravitate in times of uncertainty to people who seem very confident.
No, absolutely, and fucking Biden and Kamala. No one was confident about them. No one.
That makes sense.
Well, we just
but
our political system here in America is so fucked up right now, man.
it's giga fucked. It's so cooked.
And it's only gotten worse in the past fucking 3 weeks with all the shit executive orders that Trump's been putting through. Elon Musk and his cronies now seizing Department Treasury transactions and being like in the helm of that, which is fucking scary. He has a hold of Social Security money here. And I don't know if you know this, a lot of people depend on Social Security that are in retirement to live. And
oh god.
And they're fucking our farms are empty, our factories are empty, our construction sites are empty because a lot of the war. See, here's what fucking pisses me off. Conservatives shit on illegal immigrants, yet conservative business owners employ most of the illegal immigrants. Isn't that so fucking funny? How that works?
Oh, so by that logic, from the conservative POV, that wouldn't that make them like a necessary evil?
No,
because if you don't like them, that means you must think they're bad. But if you need them for your businesses, what the fuck?
It blows me away. And their argument is like, well, we can use Americans to work these jobs, and it's like, newsflash, asshole. Here's why illegal immigrants can work low-paying jobs. Illegal immigrants are humble, and they're in big groups, and they usually pool money together, and most of the money they make, a lot of the time, they send it back home. But here in America, it's kind of different. Like, if you live with your family, and you can depend on them financially, you're very lucky.
Yeah.
You're very lucky. Most of the time, like, I live with my family, I still pay rent. They don't pay any of my bills. I pay my bills, like we share like groceries, but like that's part of like what my rent goes towards is like the groceries and like electricals and billing and all that good shit.
Yeah.
But like
internet and shit.
Yeah, but if I want to get anything, I have to use my money. And I feel like these communities of illegals, they have more of a bond and they share more. And they're hard fucking workers, and they do good work. They do good work. Every construction site I went to, if the concrete guys were Hispanic, they were laying that shit like they knew how to do it. And they weren't asking questions. They just got there at fucking 6 a.m. in the morning and they fucking worked till 7 p.m. Anytime I've had a white Southern construction crew come on, they fucking suck.
Yeah, dude. It's like, oh, yo. So the whole idea, it's like, all right, let's get the illegal immigrants out, and then we'll have those jobs filled by Americans. but from all of the American discourse that I see and watch as a third party outside of America, it just sounds like Americans either don't want to do those jobs or they suck at them. So it's like, well, now there's a void that can't accurately be filled.
Yeah.
It's either going to get filled by people who hate the job and they don't want to do it, thus leading to shitty results and poor performance, or it's going to get filled by people who just are really bad at it, which is also bad performance. So either way, getting rid of all these people who are supposedly illegal immigrants, I guess, good God.
Well,
I kind of get what you're going for, but it's not going to fix the economy.
Well, the problem here in America is the reason why illegals are employed is so you could pay them less and they don't get benefits. That's the whole idea, is that you're saving money. And the moment that you start hiring Americans, they're not going to put up with shit conditions.
They're going to want higher pay.
Shit work.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, they're not going to for what? What's the federal minimum wage? $7.25? And
is that the American minimum wage?
Yeah, federally. The federal minimum wage
What?
is $7.25.
And so is there like differences in state?
Yeah, there's differences in states. Yeah, some states have raised their minimum wage to 15.
Okay.
Some are 10, some are 12.50. It depends on where you're at, obviously.
$7.50 is so fucked up.
Dude,
what the hell, dude?
It is so fucked up. And I can only imagine if you're an illegal immigrant getting $7.50 an hour, you're probably lucky.
Yeah.
I imagine because it's not on the books, or it's faked, or I don't know how the fuck they're getting away with it. Because I feel like, how do you put that on record? If 20% of your labor in your company is illegal immigrants, how do you get away with that? I've never understood that. But it happens. It's part of the problem.
Dude, America's just fucked, man.
America's fucked. We are, bro. We used to be the shit, and then we sold out. We sold out to our politicians. We sold out to our corporations, and now we are directly headed towards a fucking Christian nationalist fascist dictatorship.
You know,
at the worst.
Would be sick. You know what would fix all of this? If Donald Trump made a snowflake Iron Man on RuneScape.
And now we've come full circle. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. This has been episode 0 of the Base Tapes. We hope you enjoyed. Asterix, do you have any closing statements?
Hey guys, my name's Donald J. Trump, and today I'm going to be 3-tick mining on my fascism locked Iron Man.
I've just downloaded RuneLite. I'm playing this game. I've decided to make
plugin 117 HD. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. It's a whole new game. It's fantastic. The Gower brothers have really outdone themselves.
Tremendous guys.
Tremendous. I used to go to the Epstein Islands with the Gower brothers back in the day.
We need to add the Epstein Islands to RuneLite.
All right, stop. Stop.
Okay. Yo, cut that.